Many of you know that I'm a twin, and because I have always had someone with me for most of my life, when I became an adult, I realized I did not like to be alone. I just was not used to being alone. It wasn't comfortable for me. I shared a room with my sister my entire life, and when we went away to college, we shared a room again, back to bunk beds. And I lived with my twin sister through college. And then I had roommates. And then I got married and moved in with Kevin. And I, not much for being somewhere alone. And if I see this pattern of Jesus in his life, Jesus actually made solitude, alone time, a priority in his life. And he would often retreat to the mountainside to be with the Father, to be in solitude with the Father. And we saw over and over again in scriptures, this was a regular rhythm in Jesus's life. Matthew 14:23, or in John, I think it's John 6:15, and Kevin preached on Luke 6:15, 12 to 15 this Sunday, where we see that this was a regular part of Jesus's life, where he would get away to the mountainside, get alone with the Father, and spend quiet place in prayer. And I think what's so interesting when I contrast what Jesus did in solitude on that mountainside with my time with the Lord, with my time with God, it's kind of a startling difference, because some of the things that can draw me to solitude were very different than the reason that Jesus was drawn to that mountainside. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? The truth is that Jesus's time on the mountainside, it wasn't because his planner said, it wasn't a schedule. It wasn't his planner said, now is the time to go. Like, you have some duty, get up there and do your time with God, right? It wasn't out of kind of a religious to-do list or a religious duty that he was going off to the mountainside to be with the Father. It wasn't that they had a scheduled appointment, like, now is the time. This is your next meeting. Your next meeting is on the mountainside with God. Get up there, take your notebook so you can write down everything he says so that you have something important to say, right? He wasn't going, so he had a sense of maybe empowerment, or a sense of being able to come down and do something for people. But he went because he needed connection with the Father. That's what drove him to the mountainside. This living, engaging, alive, present, vibrant connection, friendship, sonship with the Father, right? His heart drew him there. His heart drew him to the mountainside, to that night in prayer. Not his planner. His planner didn't draw him there. Again, his to-do list didn't draw him there. His guilty conscience didn't draw him there. A sense of obligation. I owe this to God. He's looking for this from me, and I owe it to him. That didn't draw him to the mountainside. And so I wonder, then why do I allow those things to draw me, right? Why is that then? Is that the thing that pulls me? Because really what I want what Jesus had. I want my heart to be drawn to the mountainside. I want it to be my desire in the deepest part of my heart to draw me to the mountainside, just like it was for Jesus. He went because that is where he experienced connection, living connection with the Father, where he became fully alive, where he embraced really his identity and his destiny, and he just embraced his relationship with the Father there. And so I really want, as we're kind of looking at this week, I'm looking at solitude and this rhythm of Jesus and what the fruit of that in his life, I want to encourage us to continue to take a look at why do I go to the Father? Why do I go to my time with God? What am I really here for? Am I here for, to ask this question, am I here for this really engaged, alive, we're living, breathing connection with the Father? And so I want us to think about, in some ways, our connection time with the Father in some new ways. And this is kind of what I am leaning into these days. And I'm starting to ask myself, okay, really, let's take a look at why I'm here. What's drawing me here? Is it my heart? Is it just desire for God? Is it my desire to be connected to him? And then I want us to also look at what we're doing in our time of solitude. Like when we show up to our God time, our prayer time, our Bible time, whatever you kind of have been trained or in the habit of doing, when you show up to that God time, how are you coming? What is the kind of the content of it? And like, so how are the ways that you are connecting with the living God? If that is what we're looking for, connecting with the Father as Jesus did, how are we doing that? Because here's the truth. I don't have one way that I connect with Kevin. We don't have one way. It's not like, hey, my connection with you is just relegated to this time at the end of the night where we sit on the couch and we talk for like 15 or 20 minutes at the end of the night. That's not the only bit of my connection time. It's not the only way that I connect with Kevin in a relationship. We don't only connect on date night, right? Out to dinner with a really nice dinner and some candlelight and a glass of wine. That is not the only way. Like, I don't just save it for like Saturday night when we're going to go out to dinner or the date night that's on the schedule. There are so many ways that I connect with Kevin, that I know him and he can know me, or my kids. There's so many ways that I can have connection with them. And so I just want you to think about, how can I find connection with God beyond just the way I have always approached it? So I get prayer, right? I get that. I get my Bible reading. I get that. That is something I have to do, right? Like, this is how I connect with him. I want to encourage you to broaden the experience of connection with God this week. And I'd like you to try something new. I'd like you to try a creative way. Just ask God, okay, there are so many ways that I can connect with you beyond just this one way I've always done. And so I'd encourage you, maybe some of you, you need to go for a walk. You need to unplug from your device for a minute and sit in front of a fireplace, or get up and go for a walk. Maybe some of you need to practice hospitality. Some of you really find life in being connected to other people. That's how you connect to God. And so maybe you need to have some hospitality. Meet someone outside on a walk. Meet someone over FaceTime or Zoom. And as you're connecting with them, recognize, oh, in this moment, I'm also connecting with the Father. I'm connecting with the living God. This is how some of this comes to life. Maybe some of you need some of the celebration or feasting, and you need to make like a really nice meal and enjoy that meal in God's presence, thankful for what he has given and who he is, and bring to mind an awareness of his presence in that moment. Maybe some of you need to practice some meditation. You've been really used to filling maybe your time with the word and kind of just getting through the word and getting through your reading for the day, and you're just kind of used to like checking that off list. You can stop and just actually read till you hit a point that hits your heart, and stop and stay in that one scripture. Create an experience around it. Create like almost like an inner movie scene of it, and put yourself in the scripture. Meditate. Take a long gaze at God in what you're seeing of him in the scripture. So those are just some ideas, but I want to encourage you, try something new, because the goal is to connect with the living God, and the goal isn't a rote duty. That's not what he's looking for you. So I can't wait to hear how that goes with you. I am doing it. I am engaging in some ways of slowing my life down. One of the ways I'm doing it is I am slowing down my meals. I am slowing down. I sometimes can eat very fast and move on to the next thing, and I'm slowing that rhythm down, to engage with the living God. Can't wait to hear how this goes for you. We will see you soon.